They are like siblings. Even though they are only nephews, they are more often together and look after each other. Geraldo and Jorge, under the care of a woman they call their mother, have a very strong bond. Unfortunately, they are educated to be criminals. That night, their plan was ordered by their mother to kill one of their businessmen or rivals. Geraldo and Jorge prepared, but before that, Geraldo chose to rest for a moment by going to a motel where many couples spend time there, having fun. Unfortunately, Geraldo fell asleep and forgot that last night he had to carry out an important task from his mother. He panicked, especially since he couldn't get out because he didn't bring money. Moreover, the woman had left him first. Geraldo asked the motel owner named Dejana to let him out. She would leave her ID card as collateral. At first, Dejana didn't want to, but because she felt sorry for him, Geraldo was finally allowed to go out. Geraldo rushed to the location where he was supposed to carry out his business, but he was too late. Jorge was already a corpse. Last night he fought alone without Geraldo's company. Geraldo knew that he was in danger because he neglected his duties and let Jorge go alone. Geraldo took his belongings and hurriedly left because now he was being targeted by Mama. Geraldo had no place to stay, so he returned to the motel because his ID card was still there. Geraldo begged Dejana to stay there temporarily, then he also asked for a job if there was one. Dejana ran the motel business with her husband Elias. Elias saw that Geraldo could work, so he invited Geraldo to work at his motel. He was also given a room behind the motel. The room was small, but enough for him. Slowly, Geraldo began to get used to his job, helping Dejana clean up the rooms that had been used by customers, and so on. Geraldo was also shown Elias customers who played very roughly and extremely, even so extreme they found customers who brought snakes to the room. Geraldo, who worked with Dejana almost every day, felt comfortable, so when there was an opportunity, they did something out of line. What Geraldo did was very dangerous. When Elias took care of his mini-market business, they did it freely together. The closeness of Geraldo and Dejana made him start talking about his past, and also talked about what happened to him recently with Jorge. Hearing the story, Dejana felt that Geraldo was a fugitive and didn't want to get involved, but it seemed that he didn't stay away from her. Dejana was now unconsciously attracted to Geraldo. Geraldo went through many things with Elias and Dejana. The latest was that he and Elias buried the body of a customer who died in a motel room because of exhaustion. They buried the man's body in an empty lot, but first burned it to cover their tracks. The next day, Elias invited them to relax for a while eating barbecue and drinking. Elias drank too much and fell asleep, giving Dejana and Geraldo the opportunity to be together and do something dangerous. That night, when Elias was still fast asleep, one of their operators recorded Dejana and Geraldo's actions. The operator, named Mako, turned out to have secretly placed CCTV in Geraldo's room. The next morning, Mako showed the recording to Elias. Elias was silent, as if he was preparing, and knew what he had to do. Elias took Geraldo out of the motel by car to the edge of the cliff. At first, Geraldo was not conscious until finally Elias told him what he saw. Elias asked Geraldo to stay away from his wife and then left him there. But that night, Geraldo returned to the motel again, wanting to take Dejana and ask her to go with him. Unfortunately, it was not that easy. Elias was tougher than Geraldo. He took Geraldo and Dejana to the place where he left Geraldo naked. Elias asked them to make a grave for the two of them, but as soon as there was a chance, Geraldo and Dejana attacked Elias and then ran away. They hid behind the bushes and then continued their journey naked. They saw an accident, and it was Elias hitting a horse. Elias died at the scene. For Dejana, it was freedom. She had long wanted to leave Elias, who treated her like an object and an animal. Dejana returned to running the motel business, while Geraldo worked in another city to raise money to be with Dejana again. That was the storyline of the film Motel Destino. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, and see you later.